Well, hello everyone, sports fans and football fans. This is Comics Victor TV here. So, today I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts about the Kansas City Chiefs 2026 schedule, as the entire NFL schedule for 2026 just got released last night. And let's just get right into it. So, the Chiefs will be opening up the season at home against the Denver Broncos, the reigning division champions, on Monday Night Football, September 14th. And yeah, so a tough battle right out of the gate. Uh, yeah, the reigning division champions, and well, uh, not 100% sure if Patrick Mahomes will be ready for week one, though I have heard that he is ahead of schedule and could be ready for week one, and so I'm guessing that's why that this game is being played, on national TV. And well, ironically, Broncos quarterback Bo Nix had a season-ending ankle injury in their playoff game in their win against the Bills in the divisional round, and then they lost to the Patriots in the championship game. So, but I think he should be able to go, most certainly. But Mahomes still up in the air, but he's ahead of schedule, so he's making somewhat of a quick recovery when he tore his ACL last December, right before Christmas. So yeah, so that's a tough first game. The Broncos took both games from us last season, including on Christmas Day uh, at Arrowhead, which snapped a streak of us winning uh, like 9 straight games against Denver at home. So yeah, so divisional opponent right off the bat, and then week two will be Sunday Night Football, the 20th of September, against the Indianapolis Colts. So yes, how about that? Back-to-back primetime games to open up the season. A Colts team that looked like they were well on their way to the playoffs last season. Started out 8-1, I believe, and then after that lost their final like 7 games, including to the Chiefs, which if they would have won that game, really probably would have, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but would have got them a good chance of making the playoffs. So that's week two. So yeah, our first 2 games at home and are both in prime time. So that's interesting. And then week three, our first road game will be uh, the 27th of September against the Miami Dolphins, uh, a team that will have a pretty much a lot of different players. Had they have a new coach, and they are rebuilding, so you assume that should be a win. And then week four, also on the road, will be against the Las Vegas Raiders, uh, in which they of course had the number one overall pick, the draft a couple weeks ago, and took quarterback from Indiana, Fernando Mendoza, though not sure if he'll be the starter for week one or not. They recently signed veteran Kirk Cousins to, I think, a multi-year deal, so but who knows? He could win the starting job, and this could be Mahomes against Mendoza for the first time. And then after that, week five is our bye week. Yeah, so after just 4 games, we will be off, which seems quite strange. That's actually the earliest possible bye week for a team. So, and I honestly kind of not the biggest fan of that. Kind of the good thing I guess about that is if Mahomes cannot go for say the first 4 games, then we have that bye week uh, early in the season. But then we're gonna have to play, 13 straight games without an off week. So that could be a struggle. And then we'll come out of the bye week, week 6, October 18th, hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. So divisional opponent again. And then game I'm really looking forward to, week 7, Sunday Night Football, October 25th, against the reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. In which, speaking of the Seahawks, the first game of the season will be a Super Bowl rematch from last year between the Patriots and the Seahawks, and it'll be on a Wednesday night, uh, Wednesday, September 9th, and that's because then the next night will be a game played in Melbourne, Australia between the 49ers and the Rams. First ever game in Australia. It will be technically played Friday like afternoon there, but aired Friday, or rather Thursday evening here. So that'll be a bit different. So facing the Seattle Seahawks, and also, uh, not sure if I ever mentioned, the Chiefs signed Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker uh, to I'm not sure how big the contract was, but you know, big time deal, I guess. And yeah, so he'll be making his return to Seattle, and that was a key signing for us. So that'll be a tough matchup. Seattle, a very tough place to win for road opponents. And then week 8, November 1st, against the Denver Broncos. So our games against the Broncos are within the first half of the season. And then week 9, come back home, face the New York Jets, who will probably have yet another week 1 quarterback. They don't have much expectations this year. But I think they had a pretty good draft, but you assume that would be a win there. Week 10, on the road against the Atlanta Falcons, who they recently signed quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, in which it'll be him and Michael Penix battling for the quarterback's job. Week 11, the 22nd of November, against the Arizona Cardinals, who I believe had the toughest schedule in the entire league. And yeah, so you would assume that would be a win. Arizona projected to be one of the worst teams in the league this upcoming season. And then, here's probably the biggest one of the year. Week 12, Thanksgiving night, the 26th of November, against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo at their new stadium, which is a domed stadium. And yeah, so another matchup of Mahomes and Josh Allen. And this time will be played Thanksgiving night. So, and the Thanksgiving slate is pretty electric this year. We have, of course, 3 games on Thanksgiving, and for the first time, one the day before Thanksgiving, which will be between the Packers and the Rams. And then after the Buffalo game, we'll then play the following Thursday, December 3rd, against the Los Angeles Rams. So yeah, so back-to-back Thursday night games. And then so that'll basically mean a mini bye week before another road game, week 14, December 13th, at the Cincinnati Bengals, which could have playoff implications if Joe Burrow and the Bengals stay healthy. Of course, he only played like half the season last year due to injury and missed out on the playoffs. So that'll be a key game. And then, so that's 3 straight road games against 3 very good opponents. And then week 15, Monday Night Football at home against the New England Patriots. It'll be the first ever matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Drake May. So that should be a good one. And then week 16, the 27th of December, against the San Francisco 49ers. Rematch of Super Bowl 58. So that'll be tough. And then week 17, either January 2nd or 3rd, 2027, against the LA Chargers. And then we close out the season week 18 at home against the Raiders. So that is a pretty tough schedule for the Chiefs. Where, of course, we missed out on the playoffs last year for the first time in 11 seasons. First time ever that Mahomes had missed the playoffs in his career. And just the second time ever that Andy Reid with the Chiefs has missed the playoffs. So, we expect to return to the playoffs, but it's not going to be easy. The first 4 games before our bye week, open up against Denver will be tough, obviously. But then I think after that, 3 games after that against the Colts, Dolphins, and Raiders, I think those all could be pretty good wins, especially Miami and Vegas. You would assume those would be two, I don't know, easy wins, but you would assume that they would be wins. And then, yeah, the early bye week is going to be pretty strange because the last several years, I think our bye week has been like first week of November, basically halfway through the season. So, and then, the second half of the season from Thanksgiving on down the stretch schedule is really, really tough against a number of playoff teams from last year: Buffalo, the Rams, Chargers, Patriots, and of course the Bengals will be tough as well. So it's a very tough schedule, but we got a number of primetime games. I guess seven. See, yeah. So it's going to be a tough schedule, but Chiefs had a pretty good draft. Drafted a stud defensive back from LSU in the first round, uh, with which we actually trade up, got the sixth pick, and yes, we had a pretty good draft. And if Mahomes is not able to go for week one, if he, has a setback or is not ready for week one, well, the Chiefs recently acquired quarterback Justin Fields from the New York Jets to be the new backup. So, a capable backup if Mahomes, isn't ready to go or just gets hurt during the season, which obviously you hope it doesn't happen. So, and yeah, this also could very well be Travis Kelce's final career season. So if it is, hopefully we can go out with a bang, but it's going to be awfully tough to just make it to the playoffs. So, well, yeah, and obviously winnable games there, like I said, against Miami, Vegas, Arizona, and the Jets. You think those should be wins right there, but after that, then it's going to be pretty tough. So, we have some what you guys think about the Chiefs' schedule and the NFL schedule as well, with the Super Bowl rematch to start out the season, which is interesting, I guess. I sort of was disappointed that it was just going to be a Super Bowl rematch right off the bat for the first game of the season, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, thank you much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys the next time.